Hi, my name is Ben. I'm joined by my little kitten, Girly, and today I am talking about South Park, which I've been doing the past couple of weeks. I've been talking about how South Park has evolved, what it is and isn't speaking out about, how it is choosing to use its influence in this very trying time for America. And I think this episode, Conflict of Interest, is about as important of an episode as they've had, and it really made me feel seen. And that's what I want to talk about, what this episode does, where it chooses to use its voice, and how it does that, and how that is the power of comedy. So usually for the past few weeks, I've been kind of going over the satirical look that it has been doing on the Trump administration. This episode has that for sure, and it's very funny. The Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, is in this episode, obviously as a response to Jimmy Kimmel. That stuff is hilarious. I recommend you go check out this episode. I'm sure a lot of you who are watching this video already have. Donald Trump stuff is funny as always. JD Vance, the way they characterize JD Vance is hilarious. But the moment that I want to talk about actually comes at the end. For the context of what I'm talking about, this episode deals with the Israel-Palestine genocide going on, the genocide of the Palestinian people. The way this episode chooses to talk about the Palestinian genocide is it frames it from the Jewish family in this show, the Brokowskis, Kyle being the son and his mother being a big component of this, and basically what people kind of expect her role to be in it as it relates to her Jewishness. I myself am Jewish, so the way this episode chooses to end, I found very enlightening, very poignant, and also just what South Park does better than anybody, very funny. So what we're going to do is I'm going to react to this, and we'll talk about it here. So you'll see the clip. This is all credit to Comedy Central, South Park, that team. So in 3, 2, 1, press play. So we're in Israel.
There you are, Mr. Netanyahu! Just who do you think you are? Killing thousands and flattening neighborhoods, then wrapping yourself in Judaism like it's some shield from criticism. You're making life for Jews miserable and life for American Jews impossible. Oh, don't you roll your eyes at me, mister. You know what you're doing, and you're doing it on purpose. Well, now you can just sit in that chair, because I'm not going anywhere, buster.
So that's the clip. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because one of the creators of South Park, Matt Stone, is Jewish. I talked about it earlier. I am Jewish. Now, I am not a practicing Jewish person at all. I was never raised on Judaism. I don't have any of those spiritual beliefs. That also really shapes my understanding of Israel. That is something that, from my understanding from people who grew up within Judaism, there is this inherent understanding of what Israel stands for, what it means, the biblical sense of it, or I guess the Old Testament location of Israel, how it's the chosen land for the people of God, all of that, etc., etc. I never understood it in that context. I've always understood it more in the historical context, how Israel is formed after World War II, how it came to be, the conflicts that have emerged from Israel after that. That has always been my perspective. So the unabashed apology / whitewashing of Israel's history, that's just never been something that, one, that I've connected to, two, that I've learned, and three, that I've really had any patience for. While I don't actually have Judaism in faith, I am someone of Jewish descent. I am from a family of people who do practice Judaism. I come from Jewish heritage, so it is a part of me. And something that has been really hard to grapple with the past couple of years, one of the things that I've had to wrestle with the past few years is how my Jewish identity is being used as essentially propaganda to enable the genocide of Palestinian people. That's something that I've really been thinking a lot about the past couple of years as I've explored this topic more, as I've learned more about it. And I wrote this article years ago about the zone of interest, what that meant, struggling with my Jewish identity at that time, in a movie that is focused in on the Holocaust, but not also just the Holocaust of then, the atrocities that continue to happen now in the name of the Holocaust, which is something that Jonathan Glazer, during his Oscar speech for the Zone of Interest, talked about, the using of his Jewishness to enable the genocide of Palestinians.
All our choices were made to reflect and confront us in the present, not to say, look what they did then, rather look what we do now. Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people.
He's saying that I am feeling anger, frustration, and disgust in the idea that my Jewishness, which is so connected to the Holocaust, because anyone who's Jewish, like myself, like, understand there is this connection to the Holocaust that we all have. It's inescapable. There is so few of us left out there that, like, everyone has some form of a story connected to the Holocaust if you are of Jewish descent. It's just impossible to escape that part of the identity. And the thing that I definitely agreed with Glazer at that time was that feeling of frustration, of essentially feeling like, hey, this thing that happened, this tragedy, the thing that we said we can never forget, people are now warping that and using it to commit genocide. And they're using the Holocaust, a genocide, to basically say, we have all the leverage and ability and right to do what we are doing to the Palestinian people. It angers the hell out of me. That is something that I feel absolute disgust in. The idea that that allows you to do that. Something that has also frustrated me is this idea of this monoculture that surrounds Jewish people, especially Jewish Americans, which is this idea that we support Israel unabashedly. And I think this has come with the propaganda that Israel has put on it. Like, it is not anti-Jewish, it is not anti-Semitism to criticize the Israeli government for what they are doing and call them out. It is being portrayed, often in the media, often from leaders themselves, that anything less than full support of Israel and what Netanyahu is doing is anti-Semitism. It's disgusting. It's gross. Tying this all back to South Park, that's what I love about this final moment in the episode, which is this character in Sheila and the Brokowski family, who is Jewish. I think they're the only Jewish family in South Park. For this character, who is so widely known for their Jewishness, I mean, it is the running joke of South Park that Kyle is bullied by Cartman for being Jewish. To have this character then essentially, like, renounce any of this understanding that, like, well, because they're Jewish, they must support Israel in any way. Sheila goes to Israel and criticizes the prime minister to his face, saying that he has killed thousands and has destroyed neighborhoods and that he's making life a living hell for Jewish people all over the world, that he is contributing to anti-Semitism. That is the most poignant, that is the most unabashed way to explain this, to explain the frustration. So for South Park to do this, especially in a time where our media is pretty soft on Israel, to do that in this moment, I think shows bravery. I think it shows also the conviction of which comedy can stand on. Now, I'm not here to discuss the philosophical nature of comedy, what that means, punching up, punching down. This is what comedy can do best. It can call out a situation, it can call out something in a way that is humorous and that no other outlet is able to do, masking itself in comedy, protecting itself in comedy, but also having a truth to it. Comedy is, when done well, rooted in the truth. And I think that's what South Park does very well in this moment. And also, comedy is rooted in this idea of being able to express yourself, your beliefs, your thoughts on the world. That is freedom of speech. And that is something that we have seen regulated in America the past couple of weeks, whether it's the Jimmy Kimmel incident regarding Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman putting out a threat to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air because they didn't agree with a statement that he had, and corporations falling in line to that. That changes because people spoke out against it. That's my hope of what South Park can do, and I think that's the brilliance of South Park. South Park exists within this way that it's been able to speak to everyone. It has built a reputation of attacking everyone, that all sides are not safe when it comes to South Park's humor. So to see the show take, if you want to call it a partisan, if you want to call it a single issue approach in season 27, to use that and to talk about it, I think it draws attention from maybe people who wouldn't have discussed it earlier. South Park having the audience, having the reach that it does, that's why it's impactful for me. That is the brilliance of satire. That is the brilliance of what Matt Stone and Trey Parker have done throughout their career. And in this episode, I think this is one of their most poignant, one of their most real, and one of their most important aspects to have. And I hope this keeps the dialogue and conversation going. This was just something that I wanted to get off my chest. This is as honest as I can be about this topic. I've discussed it a few times on this channel before. I don't think I've ever spoken about it as direct in this way because I don't think much media we've seen has been as direct as this. Some allude, some make references, some are outright, none of them with the platform that South Park is given. So that's my thoughts on South Park. Thank you to everyone who watched. This is probably a little bit more serious than you were expecting clicking on, but I think it is a conversation worth having, and that's what I want to have on this channel. Speaking of conversations worth having and revolutionary thoughts and the ideas of power, how they come to be, and speaking out about that and reflecting on the times, I have a review for one battle after another coming out in the next few days. Here's my short analysis. Go see the movie. It's well worth your time. So make sure you subscribe to this channel for more and stay tuned. Thank you so much.